That stuff is important, and it's cost us games, and it's cost us big games when people don't listen. It's your responsibility to know what the hell we're in all the time, and it's your responsibility to help your teammates.
A lot of bad words. A lot of bad words. Comes like all red, you know, and you scream right at your face, you know, and you just listen and you're like, oh, sometimes I think he's crazy.
They're shooting it and 3 of them are going to the board, and nobody puts a body on anybody. They're physically kicking up. That's what this is about.
While Pop is known as a fiery taskmaster, Duncan, who hails from the Virgin Islands, is perceived to be just a bit more mellow.
Part of it's where he's from, you know, the Caribbean. The Caribbean, they don't move fast for very much. I mean, if you ever been on vacation anywhere in the Caribbean, it's, hey, no problem, man, we'll get there when we get there. He doesn't try to draw a lot of attention to himself. You know, he's not in a lot of commercials, things like that, saying, hey, look at me, I'm Tim Duncan. He's not concerned with that.
When we got the first pick, Pop went to St. Croix and spent 3 or 4 days just hanging out with Tim, walking on the beach with him. That really was the beginning of their relationship.
I thought if I went down in his home environment, that it might help me understand who he is. The first thing that I knew we had a winner was when I realized he had a sense of humor.
With the first pick in the 1997 NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Tim Duncan from Wake Forest University.
Pop, here's Tim. Okay.
So, Pop, all I've heard about from since I've gotten here was that you're going to trade me. That's all I've heard for the last 20 minutes.
There were many times early in their time together when Tim was making his way into the NBA, and he used Pop as a counselor a lot. Tim's father was ill during that time, and I think that Pop and Tim really shared some private moments that many coaches and players don't have happen.
To basketball purists, Tim Duncan is the perfect player. But to Pop, perfection is a never-ending quest.
TD, what are we in? On pick and roll, what are we in? We're in hedge. Let's go. Any team superstar that can handle criticism and are willing to improve, you've got a special player, because everybody else can't make an excuse.
When you're the star and and the coach gets on you, that makes all the other people behind you like, oh, he's getting on Tim. Well, I better fall in line behind him.
Duncan would ultimately prove to be far different than he appeared.
The relationship Tim has with the group and the players that have come through during his 10 years is probably the best relationships that I've ever seen a superstar and his teammates have.
Manu Ginobili, his first All-Star game. He's a rock star, so it's nothing different to him. Camera's always on him. He's got the hair. He's got the media coverage.
No wet today.
Oh, it's not wet today. He hasn't wet it down yet, so he's not. Please turn the camera off. Please turn the camera off.
People get the misconception that he's this quiet guy, but he talks more than anybody on the team. And once he gets to know you, he's a very open guy. He's very friendly and a very caring guy.
Pop, too, would reveal another side of himself.
Now, we got a game tomorrow, so you guys are going to lighten up on the press a little bit, right? You can't talk to those guys 24 hours a day, Tony. I don't care if they're from Paris or not, right? All they want is a story. You want to win basketball games, so you can spend some time on the game and not all those people.
Like you, Pop. I'm just trying to be nice with this.
When it's time to work, it's time to work. But there's allowed to be a certain type of fun around, enjoyment around, kidding around, and I think that in itself just lightens the atmosphere.
You got as much talent as Tony Parker and myself. Yeah. You still have to do all this stuff?
Yeah. It's a team thing.
Tony. Some of us are more gifted than others.
I've never had a head coach invite me to dinner, in the summer, invite me to his house, and talk about stuff. He's like, when it's not basketball, he's a great guy.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We got to talk about that first floor. You guys talk
I don't think I've ever been on a team where a coach says, know something about your teammate, know about what's going on in his life, get to know him, because if you know something about your teammate, he becomes a part of you. He becomes like family. And this is the only team I've been on that emphasized family more than anything I ever seen before.
But ironically, what binds this basketball family is the similar way that these two very different leaders feel about each other.
Hey, man, I'm talking to somebody here. You know, I'm talking to a guy over there. You know,
Hey, he's not just your coach for this. He's my coach now for this too. Now
you become MVP of the league. You know, you can butt in. You can butt in on people's conversation. You do whatever you want. I can think of a timeout, a 20-second timeout, where I talked to Timmy about I didn't like what he was doing in the post. Now let's get your butt in gear. Let's get going. I was on him, and then they walk back to the court. And Timmy walks back. He goes, "Pop, thanks for the positive reinforcement." And he turned around and walked back out on the court. You know, so I started laughing.
We're doing the one thing you said we're not going to do
Right,
in the middle.
because it's hard to do. And I figure it makes you guys work on your hedges a little bit more. I'm a mean person, but I think
Contradictory. I don't know about mean.
we'll stick with a little bit with mostly blitz, and it's evolved like a marriage does, in the sense that I probably don't say half as much to him as I used to, basketball-wise, or we have code words where he understands what I'm thinking before I think it. The wiring in your brain might accept this. If I just change the name of it, you won't know, and then you'll run it maybe.
Okay. I still don't know it. One play.
I know. It's only been 7 years. That's all right.
Yeah, he's a friend. He's a father figure.
Could be more happy for the guys, and especially for David, because he had just an awesome game to end his career, and that's pretty special. And there's some guys, though, that are uncoachable. You know, you just saw one right there. The guy, big guy, just walked by. He's uncoachable. Just wants to do whatever he wants to do on the court.
We've been through so much together. We've been through ups and downs, and as he's changed, I've changed. We've changed together, and that's the kind of dynamic you see with us. And I think that's been the best part of it. We took the journey together.
The most important thing is that we've shared all this together. You've shared it with your families. It's a long, long year. We got through it, and we're the last team standing. You guys are the greatest.
That means hurry up, right?